and faculty participants and FDP organizing team. Good afternoon to one and all, and we welcome to the fourth day of this faculty development program on machine learning and its applications. Today, as we already announced, we have 4 exciting sessions on this day. Out of these, we'll start our session with Dr. S. Manju garu. Ma'am, we'll welcome you to this FDP program.
Thank you. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. Ma'am, your permission, before going to start our session, just I want to introduce you to our participants.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Yeah. So before going to start the session, let me take the privilege to introduce Dr. S. Manju. Dr. S. Manju, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Information Technology, PSG College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. He has completed
Sir Sunil Garu, you are on mute, sir.
Yes, sir.
You can just start reading her profile and starting. Okay, please.
So let me take the privilege to introduce Dr. S. Manju. Dr. S. Manju, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Information Technology, PSG College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. Dr. S. Manju has completed her PhD degree in Computer Science, Bhartiyar University. She has 13 plus years of experience in teaching and research. Her research interests are data mining, data analytics, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and psychology. She has published more than 30 research papers in journals and presented research papers in national and international conferences. She has received grant from UGC, New Delhi under minor research project scheme for stress management project, and she has published her research article in Elsevier book publications. She has attended various international and national seminars, conferences, and workshops. She has acted as a career and skill development trainer in various schools and colleges. She has acted as a seminar, FDP, and workshop resource person in various institutions. Really, it is our pleasure to have a person like you in this faculty development program, madam. On behalf of our Sri Vishnu Engineering College for Women, we welcome you to this FDP. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful introduction. I would like to thank the chief patrons of this FTP, online FTP, Mr. Vishnuraj Ravichandran and Adityavisam from this college, Vishnu Engineering College, and patrons Dr. G. Srinivasa Raju, and the convener Dr. P. Kiran, coordinators Mr. Sunil and Sudhir, and all the organizing committee members for organizing this wonderful session and inviting me for this program. So I feel very proud to be a part of this program, and so I feel very privileged also at this juncture. I'd like to thank my organization also, PSG College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore, for providing me and allowing me to do this program. Thank you once again. So I would like to start with the thanks note. Shall we start, sir?
Yes, madam. You can share your screen, madam.
Yes. Is my screen visible, sir? Is my audio
Yes,
is
madam.
okay?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So I'm very happy to start with the session. The role of machine learning in smart cities. It's one of my very interesting research area, AI machine learning, and my PhD work, and as well I'm doing a lot of research works in this area only. So as Sir already introduced, I am Dr. S. Manju, Assistant Professor from the Department of Information Technology, PhD College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. So today's agenda will start with introduction and to discuss about the information flow, how it happens in the smart cities, and main advantages of machine learning, mostly focused on this smart cities. So there are many algorithms to discuss in this context of smart cities, with the applications, with the challenges and the future directions. So we will see one by one. So, introduction to machine learning is not. I hope you all already are aware of the machine learning concepts, but how it is being revolutionized with the help of this big data and the sensors, and it has been a combined technology with the IoT also. Then only it can cope up with the smart devices for the smart cities, and how it is going to collect the data from these minute objects fed into the system, and how it is going to take the intelligent decisions. That for that purpose only we are using machine learning. So potentially we combine both machine learning as well deep learning to improve the quality of that data, as well the result we obtain from the sensors or the other devices, we as we gather the data all over in case of the smart cities. So the applications also provides a very large area in this machine learning. And with this smart cities, by adopting this machine learning technology, we can get into the more modern life advancements with the help of the sensors and other actuators. A large big, we say as big data, so no need for the volume or anything, it goes like in a terabyte in that case. So how to handle that unstructured data or messy data, so without any error. So we want, if we introduce machine learning, so we can just deal with that unstructured or messy data very easily. And mostly the labeled data or unlabeled data, so used with the machine learning, or used for the resource management or the efficient personalized services in the smart cities. And some of the main major application areas like healthcare and the pollution preventive measures, efficient transportations, mostly energy management and security measures. So altogether we use this machine learning. So followed by that, the information flow. So naturally, as not only from the sensors when it is made a smart city, so there's a significant role in collecting the informations as data through the several applications. So the pattern of the data will be different. The types of the data, as you all know, it is a common one, as structured, unstructured, image format, or a different types of data will be collected. So all together we call it as a big data. So right from the sensors also we collect the ranges of data, like with the electric sensors, speedometers, chemical sensors, oxygen sensors into the climatic issues, biosensors, smart grid for the generation, power distribution For all that, you just get it from the sensor as well other devices, and first of all the raw data will be developed, and an analysis, a main purpose of this machine learning algorithms plays a role in analysis. Then it equips with a proper result. We arrive at the proper result. Then we will go with the other smart decisions, or based on that we will just follow the other future services. So with this, it is very helpful for us to deal with the data as well as with not wasting the resources, as well using the data in an effective way. Main advantages of ML in smart cities. So for the possible analysis, as I said, the data grows lengthier. It goes in terabyte, from gigabyte to terabyte, petabyte, etc., etc. So now it is overflowing actually. So it is very necessary to use this machine learning to make the best optimal decisions. So with the pattern-based tools, it is very easy for us to deal with the complex tasks for incorporating with the broader areas of AI and the deep learning. So with this machine learning algorithm result approaches, the upgrading methods of the data, networks, and other self-customized behaviors, all that has been emerging rapidly in this approach. So this is also very useful to interpret data before making the predictions. So real-time predictions are made. So at least to the 90 to 100% prediction should be right when we do it with the real-time data. So without any duplication. So the major three learning algorithms are supervised learning concepts, unsupervised, and semi-supervised. So these are the basics for machine learnings. So with the trained data, based on the input and output pairs, the result gets predicted. In unsupervised, so unlabeled input is being introduced into the system. So with the help of the neural networks, we work with the unsupervised. So I'm just saying basic things. I just touched the basic thing, and I want to concentrate on the machine learning algorithm with the concept in the context of the smart cities. So this semi-supervised, what it does is it just takes some part of the labeled training data and unlabeled. So both will be used in the semi-supervised. In case of reinforcement learning algorithms, it just works based on the result using agents. We have some more algorithms also with the help of intelligent agents. It just works. As the topic goes, I want to concentrate on the context of the smart cities, and to arrive at the as a result, we are in need of the optimal algorithm to choose the proper user application where the expected output and the desired output will be more or less same. So with the help of this algorithms, a mathematical structured model will be developed with the help of the training data to make the accurate prediction for the result. So followed by that, we have supervised ML classifiers also to train the data. So performance of the classifier is also gets increased with that, and you have Navy Bayes theorem. So that is mainly used as a probabilistic classifier. So which is features are dependent, and mostly those are used in the field of medical science for diagnosing the heart patients. So and next is most important when supported vector machines, SVM. So this particular method is used to solve the real world classification with enabled IoT. So without IoT, we can't deal with the smart cities. So it can't work alone ML. So of course it is being combined with the IoT. So some of the sample scenarios are personal healthcare for fitness records and other wearable IoT sensors like watches. Other smart devices will be used, and followed by the genetic algorithms. So mostly it is being drawn with the theory of the survival of the fittest. It is a theory itself is like that. So it works with neural network. So to minimize the generalization error, like for predicting the parking availability, it's a sample application. A genetic algorithm is used. So mostly this genetic algorithm is used for the better prediction in case of applications. And one more, K-means is the simplest, it is coming under unsupervised clustering algorithms. With the main application area includes segmentation, computer vision, in astronomy. In some other domains also we can look out this basic K-means. When K-means, when it is combined with fuzzy, so you can go with clustering or association, all that common data mining concepts could be incorporated with this fuzzy K-means. Here, when we talk about clustering to have the probability of the nearest so what it requires is this algorithm seeks softer clusters for overlapping also. So it goes beyond it's not restricted. So this is mainly used for image processing. So data, as we just capture images, and in case of image format also we capture data, which is very much used for the bioinformatics concept, gene expressions, and in many applications it is more needed, this fuzzy K-means. Next is random forest. This comes as supervised ML. So here a random value is get generated independently. So all over, with that random value, so it gets distributed all over the forest, or we mean that overall data. And this group, the group of this random forest, it just reduces the overfitting. Because of that, we can reduce the error or the biased result. All that could be reduced, and we can try to get the optimal solution with this method. Next is artificial neural network. As the name comes, it's a biologically inspired subfield of AI. So this one mostly in the vehicle control system, trajectory prediction, maybe in case of the sensing equipments, it has to be monitored with the patterns and object recognition, and as usual with the medical sectors. So this one, I just segregated these approaches with the context of smart cities. So what could be the domain in general, and what are the algorithms which can be used possibly with the use cases. For the smart city, pattern recognition and semantics could be used. So the use cases could be the smart health, public safety, and the transportation. With the multi-agent learning system, the intelligent agents will be used for smart home and the real-time traffic routing. The smart home itself, I said, as we are using agents in reinforcement learning to make the smart home more convenient. So rule-based IoTs could be used for the healthcare. So now, as a recent, you have 5th generation IoT. So where we have some of the drawbacks as well. We have more convenience as well drawbacks also. Unless or otherwise everybody use that sensor-oriented devices, it is not that much easy to set up the virtual environment altogether. So it could be available to the particular organization and to the employees alone. So when it is going to be made into a smart city or all over, the thing is everybody has to use that particular devices to enjoy that virtual environment. So with the same smart city concept, all the supervised deep learning algorithm technology could be used in the case of energy prevention or prediction, water preservation, agriculture, transportation, and the medical. So these are the common. I just classified everything. So far whatever discussed as in common, just put up everything as into a classification. Next, with the topic and application, we must know to deal with the applications where and all it is used. Mostly everywhere they just started using this machine learning to make the result predictive, and somewhat the output will be around 95 to 99% accurate. So no need to get failure with the application. We are going with the machine learning in the healthcare. So the current practical applications, they mostly use this to improve the healthcare for accurate medical diagnosis and the disease prediction at the early stages. Mostly they use to detect the patterns in the images. As we do in CT scan, MRI facilities have been emerged. Even then, to make it more feasible and to detect the delicate and complex patterns, to achieve more detail to it, we're using ML tools for making a smart and very good output based on that tools. And physical activity recognition, in that also we are using ML, and it just saves the cost and time of patients and the hospitals. So no need to roam or in this COVID situation. So you know better. So if we are using this kind of techniques, no need to come in person to the hospitals. So easily we can check at your home itself. For example, oxygen level. Yes. Okay. And with that, so wearable smart devices were also currently in use. We use smartphones. With that, most of the apps applications we use comes under the machine learning. Smart watches, wristband, and other things we use nowadays to just get the meaningful data. So just try to avoid the privacy of that particular person, or health aspect. It has to be checked. So without affecting the health aspect, we can use this wearable smart devices. And next is in case of smart traffic management and transportation. Of course, it is a nuisance for everybody in day-to-day life because of traffic. Not only that, it creates a pollution also, congestion, stress. So all that could be reduced with the smart mobility by using the sustainable transport system with a smooth urban traffic. You can just apply this information and communication technologies to improve the pattern of the traffic, and the messages could be sent to the users or the public that particular roadways is got jammed right now, so that they can adapt the different way, or they can just decide their travel after next half an hour or before half an hour, anything in a smart thing. With the advancement of this machine learning and the deep learning, so we can just develop a flexible way of intelligent adaptive traffic control systems, so which is very much useful for the public in the future days. In the context of this smart transportation, so the applied algorithm, specifically I mentioned K nearest neighbor. So in this case of autonomous accident detection, this particular algorithm can be used for this application. And with the combination of support vector system and the Markov's random field, so this combination could be used for park space detection system, and the concept is explained in detail, so that is not an issue now. So the combination of this SVM and Markov could be implemented for getting a better performance in parking space detection system with an undirected graph with the random variables. So you can just obtain the input data from the cameras where the parking slot is being placed, and that particular data, the input data, is being taken for pre-process as processing in the earlier stage. As the pre-processing is a first stage, we have to process the data, then it is being moved to the next stage of clustering or associative patterns. Based on the application, we are going to deal with the data, as you all know. So SVM alone could be used for road surface abnormalities, and K means you can use it for the traffic network configurations. So followed by that, you have regression tree patterns for the short term or long term traffic in the work zones. So it is very advantageous in case of that. And deep neural networks for determining the critical road segments where you feel that unpredictable traffic conditions are happening. And this particular architecture will capture the correlated patterns with the targeted road segments and the surroundings of the road segments, and it is going to impact the natural traffic flow of the targeted road segments. So this is with the ML algorithms used in the context of smart transportation alone. So for this individual application, these algorithms could be used. So followed by that, the combating pollution, how to cope up with the pollution. So it is a very big task. So most of the current issue also comes because of that. As we know, it is a communicable disease. So I don't want to touch more on that disease pattern. of course, because of it is a communicable diseases. Because of pollution also we face lot of problems in our organs. So it just just makes us a very big threat to the planet itself, not only to a particular community or the place. For the whole planet itself, this coping up with the pollution is a big problem. So to deal with it, so the efficient way of using machine learning, we can apply this ML. So for the large, complex and varied, so time series data has been obtained. So to provide the estimates of the air pollution and the particles which is present in the air also, and the reason for the pollution creation, and all the thing will be analyzed. So with the help of the algorithms, again in the context of the pollution, so how it could be made pollution free in future, but not now. Till now we can't say that totally it has been avoided. So if we are going to use efficiently these methods, definitely in future we can be pollution free with artificial neural networks. So it just gives the prediction of air pollutant. That's, as I said, the minute particles which is present in the air, the sulfur dioxide, and some of the suspended matters which is present in the air. So these minute particles could be analyzed with the help of this machine learning algorithms. With the help of SVM, so the prediction main that pollutant in the that is PM10 pollutants, the patterns. It is just showing the prediction pattern. So it is very helpful to give the early warning system, to give the health advice, or to clear the particular components in the air, or just coming out with a solution to get a better ambience at present. And genetic algorithm also we can use for the large data with the different databases or mixed data sets. This genetic algorithm with the nearest neighbor algorithm can be used for the major concentration of pollutants as an option. These are all the options to use the context of pollution. And random forest model to just estimate the quality of the data or the quality present in case of this urban systems. So based on that quality, the further solutions will be taken. So that quality will be checked with the help of random forest model with available data. So continued by that, particle swarm optimization is also another important algorithm to predict air quality with the available parameters. It is useful to predict the quality of that air. And Navy Bayes algorithm it is not the quality or anything, not in particular. It just goes with the Hartley concentration. So example, the particle material like sulfur dioxide, not only the historical data, still now it is available. Some more unwanted materials is also available. So those we just predict it. We just predict with the help of these algorithms on hourly basis. For hourly basis, this Navy Bayes algorithm is very, very useful. And the next application is in the public safety. So public safety, very, very important. And the cyber threats are vulnerable nowadays as we go with the smart city concepts. So anybody can get any data anytime. Because of this itself, it is most vulnerable to get the cyber threats or cyber attacks. So through our phones or our laptops, we have seen a lot of information has been just unauthorized person just make a deal with the data, and it is being used in an improper way without privacy. There is stealing, you know very well, so stealing happening with the unauthorized access from our devices. So it has to be taken care. In those aspects, the machine learning deal with the work of law enforcement agencies. It just brings out with the approaches like facial recognition, speech detection, and the pattern of crime identification. So to just give the better public policies and detect the fraud. It can also predict and it has to detect no other code, the facial prediction or so some more application comes in the aspect of facial and speech detection. So once it happens, before that it have to be identified, as some of the application detects whether we are human or robo or other security questions have been asked. Even though it is asked, we know very well that within the fraction or nanoseconds our data is prone to the unauthorized access. So we can safeguard with the help of machine learning to the most extreme. We can try to safeguard our data by using artificial neural network and SVM. Extensively, it has to be applied in the security measures, like the surveillance drones have been used now, gunshots detection, the most number of sensors, different types of sensors, agriculture based sensors, for smart city we have a separate different kinds of sensors. For a smart home we have different sensors to work with the IoT. In this way, for public safety we have a particular sensors, and video analytics is also done in this case of public safety measures. And next one is a smart grid system for an electricity network. So this, as it has been discussed with the smart cities, I just thought to discuss about the smart grid system with the digital communication and to detect and react changes with the issues happening with this electricity data, digital oriented communications. So where this ML methods adds durability and it is more flexible when we use it to the power system and to address the emergencies in case of this power systems because of man-made, not only the natural calamities, a man-made is mostly it happens with the case of man-made, and it collapses the whole business, not only in case of public. If it happens into a particular place, so ahead we can predict it and we can safeguard the system or any failures caused due to power system. It is easy for us to overcome the situation. So this machine learning provides attractive solution to process these type of data, and it just implements effective security solution. It just suggests us more effective solutions than any other method. So followed by that, we have advanced security cameras and surveillance system. So we all know the security system, surveillance system is already been developed, and it is CCTV cameras are being fed. So what is difference you are going to have here is, so different types of sensors enabling to the public pattern. It just use the eye pattern and behavioral pattern, and even with the help of the person's face, it can just locate from which city that particular person should be. In future, through the camera we can watch that person who it is in case of that face, but in future aspect we can also locate from which city he is from. So all that is being linked with the help of machine learning algorithm. So immediately it give prediction, and it just that particular person, the theft person could be identified easily with these kind of data provided by machine learning. So it recognizes not only people, their faces, track unusual activities also, which has been done in the restricted area. And the advanced cameras and movement for this public safety, the face detection, with the, it just detects the person's different faces. And what is the difference means enhancement here is, it not only detects the face, it is just disclosing the personal identities also. Just now I said, for example, the personal ID card, or it can also give like so and so from this area. So it is very easy for us to catch hold of them, or it reduces the time of taking action. So immediate actions could be taken with the help of these enabled technologies. So with the AI security cameras or drones, we can also recognize the human faces not only with the identities, exactly it can match up with the database and it can trace the identity. It can authenticate the person entering into the cities. It can also give the better identity to them. So it can say so and so the unauthorized activities being performed in the society. In other restricted areas also we can have this kind of facilities with AI face recognition technology with disclosing personal identities. And some more recent applications I would like to discuss: a smart energy metering is a combination of AI as it is a part of artificial intelligence. So it is being combined with IoT, which is the crucial component. With the help of the government visions, this smart city concept is being enabled with the industrial zones also. That's why smart energy metering. Of course, it is being in the city. So to increase the high potentiality of the energy utilities in the field, so we are using this machine learning applications in case of this smart energy metering. And IoT enabled park benches. So with the help of sensors, we can enable this IoT enabled park benches, where it is very useful for us to plan for future. Of course, can't private data could be accessed sometimes through voice recognition. So people have to make a choice whether to discuss the private things in public. So the new IoT enabled park benches, so it will be alarmed or will be written on the top or the in front of the park benches itself as IoT enabled, so that people could be more aware of it. So through that park bench systems, they collect a constant stream of information. So it is very useful to analyze for the broad range of urban planning, not only for the services. Any future issues could be addressed with the help of this placed sensors. So in case of security or future planning, this particular system or application is very useful, even though the drawbacks the public may face. So they have to be careful while sharing the private messages or information. So it has got both drawback as well advantage. So we have to take care in those aspect also. And followed by that, augmenting workforce knowledge and skills. So with the help of intelligent machines, it provides recommendation for technicians, other equipment technicians, how to perform complex maintenance. It is just a general augmentation technique for an employee in an organization to develop with the knowledge and the skills. So it is just going to give the recommendation to operate the complex techniques and how to perform complex maintenance tasks on that equipments also. So not only the working procedures, it also captures feedback from the technicians over time to time. As like a project goes, we do testing and feedback. Timely changes will happen. So not like after getting into a collapse or the whole system gets over or no use in future. So not like that. In present condition itself, it collects the feedback and immediately it goes for the future recommendation. And on the whole, it helps the whole workforce, and with the help of it, we feel more productive, and safety measures is also possible in case of this intelligent machine recommendations. So many crises or complicated situations could be avoided with the help of this intelligent machines. Next is improved commercial chatbots. So we all know that already. So it doesn't need a technician or a technology. So you give a lot of information through this chat box, and it is like a commercial branded one. So based on that, and some analysis is done. Already you all know that once you type a letter or a word, so natural analysis gets happening. So application itself developed in the case of AI. So to go further and to develop the brands mostly into the business, these chatbacks are enabled. and to grow with the product and in a positive way. So the chat box communications is being used. And next is adaptive workplaces to improve employee wellness. So that is more important nowadays. So even though we work with techniques, equipments, energies all over, means I'm talking about the power supplies of which is used in case of smart city development. So we have to concentrate on the employee wellness also, the people wellness, or in common we can just consider it. So this particular application with computer vision and this AI, so it just adapts the needs of the employees to improve their wellness in mostly in the time of the self isolation measures being felt on the global scale, self isolation, or to improve their wellness, whether they are going to get isolated or to identify the happenings in the workplaces between the employees, maybe with their face recognitions or speech. So whatever way we can just make aware to the employee and make them adapt the situation also, make them adapt and allow them to use the techniques so that it could be useful for them in case of their wellness. So not only in this case, also the business or a company's protection and the productivity and effectiveness will be improved with the help of improving the employee wellness, considering employee wellness. That is the most important one. So followed by that, the cognitive power plants. So the efficiency of this power plants will be amplified with the help of this AI. We can just embed a part of new power plant from the beginning of the construction itself. It has to be applied as an intelligent system, and it can be aware enough to assist the operators, and with the help of the encoded expert level knowledge, we can make the real-time adjustments also based on the solutions or predictions given by the intelligence system. So it has to be constructed from the beginning so that it can provide a better suggestions or to safeguard the power plant or to increase the adjustment level in case of the power plants as in a productive sector. So this AI is very much useful. And next is machine learning with the case of AI powered pavement management for the better maintenance of the roadways. How we are going to apply and strengthen the infrastructure with the help of mostly the prediction is done with the concept of AI. So slowly it learns better and better. That is the case of AI. So it learns every time. Then based on that, the output will be not in a predictive way, maybe in an accurate way also in future. So we most of the time we say the predictive analysis, maintenance, etc., etc. So it goes on learning like a human. In as at the end of the result, it can be an everything. It can totally replace a man for accuracy. So for this particular problem, so the predictive maintenance and it improves availability. Most of this AI-powered pavement management, it mainly reduces accidents, and the priority is more given to the maintenance and the needs. The roadway systems we talk about. So where definitely because of roadway system, road accidents are caused in highways mostly it happens. In those cases, this AI-powered payment management application will be very useful. So in all this concept, this AI machine learning applications are more smarter and efficient for using in the society, and all these tools we can just create better humanity with this technologies. And even though we discussed a lot of applications, there are some challenges to be discussed. So just as a summary, It starts from the healthcare system to the all over traffic management, transportation, pollution concept, from the safety measures, smart grid systems, security systems, common public safety systems, energy metering, IoT means collaborating with the IoT with the human aspects of development, knowledge and skills, commercial products, and based on the institution and the employee wellness, other power plants, payment management system. So these are some of the emerging applications I just discussed. And the challenges, what could be the challenges mostly? Yes, unauthorized things happens in between everywhere. We face every day we face this unauthorized access to our data, and some modifications are also done without our knowledge. While sharing through the network, it happens mostly. It's most cyber threats. So sometimes when the particular data are modified or loss of data happens in between, in these case of smart city data collection, what happens is this ML classifiers can be inaccurate sometimes. That's because of the modified data. That is, the input is not given properly. In those cases, the classifiers may be inaccurate. Sometimes data providers, they also lose their control, so they share relevant data, or it's not a proper clarity is also available in case of data sets, structured or unstructured patterns. Sometimes it could be rectified somewhere, like access are based needs to be eliminated to attain the smart city. Means at the same time, the smart access devices and sensors should be used simultaneously. So it's we should be able to use smart devices as well sensor in the both the hands, so that we can eliminate the problem of attaining into the smart city. And next is, there is an unrestrained access to the efficient sensors and the smart devices for every individual to construct the virtual network of IoT. So when it is available to every individual only, we can say that it can construct a virtual network of IoT technologies. So without that, we can't assure, as on the whole, it is not that easy to construct the virtual network of IoT technologies. So these could be the general challenges with the future directions. So these platforms, how to move to the next level in future, how it could be. So with the platform, the efficient process of collecting data, diverse data, types of data sets, deploying the resource constrained devices with the new analytic framework patterns. So it is very easy for us to analyze the real-time streams of data. So it is not that still the past data or very old data could be worked with the, maybe in the simulated or any sort of environments. So it should be able to get along well with the real-time streams. So that should be the future direction when we use all this ML tools. Mostly it should able to focus the unstructured pattern. It mostly helps the physicians in case of the nearest diagnosis, and even for the patient side or the public side, the medication cost will get reduced in this case of dealing with the physicians or the healthcare sector. So how to deal the data, it should be an appropriate one, so that both the sectors could be benefited, the physician side or the public or patient side. and it is not restricted to the academicians or industrialists. So the main positive effects are because of collaborating with the IoT along with machine learning. So it is being linked with IoT, of course. It is providing an established way of communication with all sort of devices. As I said, 5G is the current technology. So 5G enabled institutions have been emerged. It has been emerged already. Here we discuss about the tiny devices in the sense we use day-to-day means devices or equipments which we use in every places, that will be replaced with the IoT enabled systems, and with the help of this machine learning application, as it has been enabled with the help of the data grabbed from that IoT sensor devices, machine learning applications can work with that data. And with this application, so it can give more improved ideas for the complex problems. So that is the main advantage of the machine learning. So it provides IoT system for service modification, and not only for the service modification, to improve into the great success for based on that application. It just takes that application or the system into a big successful way. So these are some of the future directions I have discussed, but it is not restricted to the current situation. Not only the healthcare system. So for analysis part as well, for the developing the solutions, this future directions could be very useful. I hope so. And the types of data which deals with the machine learning. So it is possible to achieve the accurate results in case of academicians and industrialist sectors, which is I'm just giving a summary of it, future direction. And based on the data patterns being collected with the collaboration of IoT, so the communications is being enhanced with the help of devices, and from the arrived data patterns, it has been introduced into the machine learning applications for further production and the elevation of the systems. So, to my knowledge, I have just shared a few ideas of machine learning and how could be the smart city planning, and in future how we can efficiently be part of the smart cities. So now I think it's up to you. So I made it.
Thank you so much, madam, for giving a brief idea about how we can apply the machine learning techniques in making a city as smarter with the help of traffic, controlling the pollution, healthcare, public safety, and smart
Yes.
grid. Everything you covered, all the major interesting topics which we need in the current trending market. Really, we are thankful to you, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you so much. So I feel very happy to share the things in the future. So one of my research, current research is also in this platform only. As it is in the idea state, I didn't reveal it. Sorry. In future, it will be an application soon.
Yes, thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, Kiran Sri, sir. Ma'am, I hope HOD sir is attending for another regular class, ma'am.
Sunil garu,
Can
Yes, sir. Sir, Dr. Manju Madam completed, sir. I
like
would like to say anything.
just like participants want to interact with madam.